All right, today we're diving into one of the most intense psychological showdowns you can imagine. This isn't just a battle of wills, It's a fundamental collision between someone who absolutely survives on control and someone they just can't control. So let's get into it. And this quote, it really just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? For a narcissist, life is a game, and the main rule is control. It's the bedrock of their entire identity. So what on earth happens when they meet someone who just refuses to play? So on one side, you have the narcissist. They've built this incredibly elaborate false self to hide a deep, dark inner emptiness. And on the other side, you have the super empath, who operates from a place of real, grounded self-awareness. This is the core conflict we're looking at, a battle between illusion and cold, hard truth. First up, we have to understand this isn't just two difficult personalities bumping into each other. No, this is two completely different psychological realities colliding head-on. It's a big deal. To really get this, we've got to talk about a concept from the psychologist Carl Jung called the shadow. Now think of it like this. It's all the parts of ourselves that we just refuse to look at. Our insecurities, our shame, our deepest fears. For the narcissist, their shadow is absolutely terrifying. And that means the narcissist's entire personality, the charm, the arrogance, the over-the-top confidence, it's all just a fragile mask. It's an elaborate defense mechanism built for one single purpose, to avoid at all costs ever having to look at their own shadow. And this brings us right to the heart of the conflict. This is where we see how the narcissist's number one tool for survival, their whole game of control, just completely starts to fall apart. Okay, so this is basically the narcissist's playbook. They are masters of creating psychological drama. They write the script, they set the scene, and they pull your strings like a puppet master, all to get an emotional reaction out of you. That reaction, that's their fuel. Without it, their whole engine just stalls out. But here's the super empath superpower. Instead of jumping on that stage and playing the part the narcissist wrote for them, they stay in the audience. They just observe. They see the patterns, they see the manipulation for what it is, and they simply choose not to engage. And how do they do this? By setting incredibly firm boundaries. And look, these aren't aggressive walls built out of fear. They're calm, quiet foundations of self-respect. By refusing to give that emotional reaction, they cut off the supply that the narcissist so desperately needs. And that shatters the narcissist's core belief that they run the show. You see, when the narcissist can no longer control the story, when they can't twist reality to make themselves the hero or the victim, their entire false self begins to fracture. It's a complete internal collapse. And that's when we enter the next phase of this whole unraveling. It's where the simple act of reflection becomes the narcissist's absolute greatest threat. Carl Jung had this idea that we see parts of ourselves reflected back at us in other people. Now, for most of us, that's a chance to grow. But for a narcissist, a clear mirror is basically a weapon pointed right at them. And here's the real kicker for the narcissist. The super empath acts as a perfect, totally undistorted mirror. They don't absorb the drama or twist the projections. They just reflect the truth right back at the person sending it. So what does the narcissist see in that mirror? Everything. Absolutely everything they have spent their entire life running away from. Their own wounds, their own fears, their deepest insecurities. They're forced to face the very shadow they tried so hard to bury. And when a narcissist finally meets someone they just cannot break, it shatters their delusion of being all-powerful. It's a direct hit to their inflated ego, and it creates this psychological crack that honestly never really heals. And that leads us to the final stage. The narcissist's ultimate defeat, which exposes their single greatest fear. And I bet it's not what you think. Just think about this for a second. Being hated? A narcissist can deal with that. In fact, they can even feed on it. It's still a powerful emotion, proof that they have influence, that they matter. But being forgotten? Oh, that's proof of irrelevance. It's like being completely erased from the map. And that is why this super empath's greatest power isn't fighting back. It's not winning an argument. It's in the quiet, unbelievably powerful act of simply walking away. And the finality of it is what's so devastating to the narcissist. This isn't some temporary tactic to get a reaction. It is a permanent exit. The door is closed, and for the narcissist, that creates this unfillable void where their power used to live. So you see, the super empath's silence, it's not a sign of weakness at all. It is a profound form of self-mastery. It's a quiet victory that ends the toxic game for good. So, as we wrap this all up, the real question kind of turns back to you, doesn't it? After seeing this whole dynamic play out, where do you recognize your own power? Is it in winning some argument, or is it in the quiet strength of walking away from a game you were never meant to play in the first place? Because in the end, that's the real takeaway here. True strength and true victory, it has nothing to do with taking another person down. It's all about building your own inner freedom and becoming the most authentic version of yourself. And that is a power that no one can ever take away from you.